What's up, everyone? It's Phones here. I hope everyone is enjoying their 2024, and I appreciate you all for being here with me today. Unless you join me on another day, which I appreciate you for coming anyways. In today's video, I'd like to go over some of the combos with the new cards Fire Kings will be incorporating into their decks over the course of the next couple of months. So if you could click on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons, it would mean a whole lot. For this first combo, and for the first several combos really, we'll be starting with just Bonfire, as I want to feature the newest card since there's not a whole lot that changes with the deck in regards to the deck list. It's just a couple of cards that you're adding in, and we're going to add ourselves the Snake Eyes Ash, and then we're going to normal summon it, and then use its effect in order to add ourselves our first new card, the Fire King, or the Snake Eyes Populace. It's a level 1 Fire Pyro type that reads, if this card is added to your hand except by drawing it, you can special summon it. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Snake Eyes spell trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one fire monster in your graveyard, place it face up in its owner's spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. You can only use each effect of Populace once per turn. And this is a highly anticipated card coming out of Phantom Nightmare because of its extension abilities, but also being able to uplift the level 1 fire monsters that are in the game by such a big amount, since you're just able to do so much with this card and the rest of the Snake Eyes support, as we'll be able to special summon it here. We'll also be able to get into the original Snake Eye, or the original Sinful Spoil spell card, as we'll use the effect of Ash in order to get ourselves into Flamberge, and then we'll use the effect of Populace putting itself in the spell and trap zone, and then we'll use the effect of the original Sinful Spoils to send away the Populace, and then we'll be able to special summon out the Ponix. Now, if there is one thing that you'll notice about this particular combo line is that it does play heavily into hand traps, and I will be alternating between different Bonfire combos that give you different options to play around it. We're going to then get ourselves the Sanctuary, as we'll then be able to activate the Sanctuary, get ourselves the Fire King Island, use the effect of Fire King Island, which will pop the Flamberge Dragon. We'll get ourselves Garunix, use the effect of Flamberge as Chainlink 1, the Garunix as Chainlink 2, special summon out the Garunix. We'll then bring back the Snake Eyes Populace and the Ash, as we'll be able to use the effect of Garunix to destroy the Barong. I am using Barong in this video just because I want to show the most that you can do with just one or two cards, and I feel like Barong does go a long way in doing that. I know that some people hate this card and some people don't play it, but in this particular list I am choosing to, and I'll talk about that later on in the deck profile. So we're going to go into the IP Masquerena, go into the Promethean Princess, as it's a new Link 3, it takes 2+ effect monsters. You cannot special summon monsters except fire monsters, so very important to note that you are fire locked. You can only use each of the following effects of Promethean Princess once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon one fire monster from your graveyard. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can target one fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card. So another really strong card that this deck will be getting in Phantom Nightmare, as it not only gives the deck extension, but also that form of disruption. So we'll then be able to go into our Amphibious Swarmship, as we'll then be able to go into the standby phase of our opponent's turn, get ourselves the effects of Barong along with the Ponix to add the Kirin, as we'll then go to the main phase. Whenever your opponent does something, you can use the effect of Kirin, popping the Swarmship, bring back the Garunix, use the effect of the Swarmship to bring back the IP Masquerena, then you'll be able to use the effect of the Garunix, which will be able to send yourself the Kirin, and I'm doing this for the max amount of interruptions, as you'll be able to get the pop off the Kirin when you revive the Barong. Then you'll have the ability to use the IP Masquerena at any point in your opponent's turn in order to get into the SP Little Knight. You'll be able to get a banish here, get another interruption whenever your opponent special summons a monster, both with the Sanctuary as well as the Promethean Princess in the graveyard. As you'll see momentarily, we get the Scrap Dragon-like effect in order to revive itself as well. It also destroys the Ponix, which is really nice because it means that you get that follow-up when it goes back into your hand during your standby phase. but then you'll see that we also get the Eternity Garunix access through the Fire King Sanctuary. And of course, in a real game, you wouldn't do it in this order, and you would want to wait until you probably use your SP Little Knight, banish it, and then you obviously want to use these at different times. But that said, I'll take you on to the next one. For this second combo, again, we'll be starting with Bonfire, and we're going to add ourselves the Fire King or the Snake Eyes Ash, and I'm going to have to get these names right, but we're going to use the effect of Ash in order to add ourselves the Populace, special summon out the Populace, use its effect in order to get us the original, as we'll then be able to go into the Flamber's Dragon off of the Ash, use the effect of the Populace so that we can then use the original Sinful Spoils, sending it away in order to get ourselves the Ponix, and then use the effect of Ponix, which will give us the ability to get the Sanctuary, and then we'll go into the Sunlight Wolf, as we'll be able to use the Flamber's Dragon, revive the Populace and the Ash, then use the effect of the Sunlight Wolf, which will give us the ability to get that Ponix, then go into the Linkuriboh. If you'll notice, we still have the Sanctuary in hand as we go into our Decode. We'll use the effect of the Heat Soul in order to get that draw. We'll then go into the Apo, and now we can play around hand traps more successfully through here, since we do have the ability to activate the Sanctuary for the island and then do this under Appaloosa. Now, Imperm still kind of does hurt, but the fact you can go into Appaloosa just eliminates a lot of potential threats, as you can then use the effect of Garunix, send the Barong or destroy the Barong, and then during the standby phase, you'll be able to get yourself the Kirin along with the effect of the Ponix. With that, I'll take you on to the next combo. Now, this next combo features a going second strategy that you can play, and we're going to start here with normal summoning the Snake Eye Ash, use its effect in order to get the Populace, use the effect of Populace in order to special summon itself, get that search for the original, as we'll then be able to use the effect of Ash, bring out the Flamberge, use the effect of the Populace in order to put it in the spell and trap zone, use the original in order to special summon out Ponix, then use the effect of Ponix, as we'll be able to get ourselves the island, as we'll then be able to use the island, popping the Flamberge, as we'll get ourselves the Garunix, much like the previous combos, as we're going to then special summon out the Garunix, bring back the two Snake Eyes from our Flamberge Dragon's effect, as we'll then destroy the Barong, go into our IP Masquerena, go into the Promethean Princess, as we'll then be able to use its effect in order to revive the Ponix. We can then go into the Raging Phoenix, and then we'll go into the Zelantis, use the effect of the Zelantis, which will bring back and allows you to use the effect of the Promethean Princess, and then we can use the effect in order to pop the Garunix along with our opponent's monster, use the effect of the Raging Phoenix, which will bring back itself, and then we can go into the battle phase, and this gives us just 8,000 damage alone off of the Raging Phoenix and the Zelantis, along with another monster that could potentially beat over another monster that your opponent may have, so that you can swing for game with 10,700 total damage if it's direct. Now, for the next couple of combos, and I showed this one in my previous combos, if you want you can skip to the deck profile if you're more familiar with the Fire King strategy already, as these are just really basic combos. I just want to go over the one card combos for people learning the deck, as we're going to start with the Ponix, get the Sanctuary, use the effect of the Sanctuary. Sanctuary will then get us the Garunix as we pop the Ponix, use the effect of Garunix, which will special summon itself. Garunix will then be able to destroy the Barong. From here we can go on to the standby phase of our opponent's turn, where we'll be able to use the Barong and the Ponix so that we can get ourselves the Kirin and the Ponix, so that we can get those disruptions on our opponent's turn. For the penultimate combo, and this is just another way to get into your Fire King combo, as we're going to get ourselves the Diabellstar through the Wanted, our special summoning itself on the field. We can then use its effect in order to get ourselves the original Sinful Spoils, activate the original Sinful Spoils, and much like our previous combos, Ponix access means that we have the Sanctuary, which means we have Fire King Island. Since we have the fire on board, we can use the effect of Sanctuary, popping the Ponix, getting ourselves the Garunix, use the effect of Garunix in order to special summon itself, destroy the Barong, use the effect of the Wanted Quick Play in order to put back the original Sinful Spoils. Then you can go onto your opponent's standby phase and get yourself ready to disrupt your opponent with the Ponix back in hand, as well as the Barong search for the Kirin. Now, for the final combo, before I take you onto the deck profile, and I'm only showing this because it's another way to play through hand traps. A lot of these combos that I showed have very glaring choke points, whether it just be something easy like Droll, or something like Nibiru, which can hit you in the middle of your combos and can still kind of hurt, since at that point you may only have a light monster if you don't have anything else to destroy with Sanctuary. So that is important to note, as we're going to get ourselves the Arvada. You can get yourself the Spell and Trap Negate if you want to play around Imperm as well, but we'll then use the effect of Bonfire this time around. Since we used our normal summon, we have to get the Populace. Use the effect of the Populace in order to get ourselves the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, and then we'll use the effect of the original, get ourselves the Ponix, use the effect of the Ponix with the effect of the Populace, as we'll then be able to get ourselves the search for the Sanctuary, activate the Sanctuary, which will be able to get us into the island, use the island, popping the Ponix. From here we can get ourselves Garunix, use the effect of Garunix, which will be able to then destroy the Fire King from our deck, as we're going to destroy the Barong, use the effect of the Barong and the Ponix in our opponent's standby phase, and with this, I'll take you on to the deck profile. So with all of the combos out of the way, some of the options that I would like to talk about first before I continue on are the fact that you see that I am on Tenki with the 2 Arvada and the 1 Hanuman, and the reason for this is that we want to play around hand traps, even if they are kind of bricky at times. The fact that you can just end your turn on normal summon Arvada if you didn't draw anything great, like all of your going second cards with no other way to combo, and maybe you have like a Kieran in order to be that destroy for the monster negate, it's just something that comes up and something that you have to be aware of, because if you aim for max consistency by playing stuff like the 3D Bellstar and hiring the counts of your wanted and stuff, you do play heavier into hand traps, and going second space can be limited. Now, that said, there are ways that you can create more space for going second cards by cutting out stuff like the Tenkis and maybe even the Barong along with one of the Arvadas. The only reason that I didn't do this is because of its ability to play around hand traps when you have these cards included. Then you'll see that for the Snake Eye stuff, we're really mostly on one-ofs, and it's because you're only going to cycle through it once. The first time that you do it will get you into your Fire King combo, and once you have your Fire King combo access, you'll usually have a Ponix in hand for your follow-up, meaning that you can continue to play on through there. So that's why we have the 3 Bonfire, the 1 Ash, which again is a normal summon, which can conflict some of the hands that you may get, which is another reason why I only play this at 1. The 1 Populace can be kind of scary. I've seen some builds play 2 just to make sure that they can add it to their hands, but I don't think that you need to go that way about it. Then, of course, the 1 Bellstar. If you do want to aim for more consistency, you would play more copies of this. But as said, there is some downsides that come to that. And for the other options I would like to talk about, you'll see things like Nightingale along with Zeus if you want to play the Zeus package. The Recital Starling along with the Crow could be something that really does come in throughout the course of the next couple of months because of transaction rollback. That definitely is an option if it's something that sees a lot of play. With all of that out of the way, I'm just going to get onto the card by card, as I don't have much else to say about the list. It's a very consistent deck, and it's looking to be the top deck of the format, not only with how consistent it is, but with how flexible it is in regards to how many different ways you can play some of your hands, whether it be making a bunch of disruptions or being able to protect yourself through hand traps. So we have the 3 Bonfire, the 2 Wanted, the 1 Original, the 2 Tenki, the 1 for 1, the 2 Ponix, the Garunix, the 1 Fire King Skyburn, we then have Barong, Ash, we then have the 2 copies of Fire King Island, Populace, we then have the copy of Hanuman, we then have the 3 copies of Kieran, 2 Arvada, Bellstar along with Flamberge, the 2 copies of Sanctuary, the 3 copies of Nib, 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Droll, 3 copies of Imperm. Onto the extra deck, we have the 1 copy of Anima, the 1 copy of Linkuriboh, IP Masquerena, SP Little Knight, Sunlight Wolf, Hida, Heat Soul, Promethean Princess, Stormship, the Raging Phoenix, Appaloosa, World Zelantis. We then have the 2 copies of Eternal Garunix and the 1 copy of Typhon to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 600 plus subs. I truly appreciate your support, and now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. Have a happy New Year's. It's Bones, signing out.